think it's all over. With David and Lee is a Chelsea fan who, despite being sports minister, has the worst seat at Stamford Bridge. He sits between Ken Bates and David Mellor. Tony Banks MP. On Gary's team, we were going to have Chris Eubank, but sadly the great man has dropped out at the last moment. Instead, we have a comedian who's very kindly agreed to step into Mr Eubank's shoes. They're silver lame jack boots with a lining woven from dormouse pubes. John Moloney. We start the show with something a little different. We're going to show each team clips from 4 different football matches, 2 of which were fixed. We want to know which ones were fixed and which ones were fair. Gary, Rory and John, 2 of these 4 referees were offered bribes, but which ones? Here's the dubious penalty at Anderlecht in 1984, which put Nottingham Forest out of the UEFA Cup semi-final. This is Dynamo Tbilisi beating Linfield of Northern Ireland in the 93 UEFA Cup, as recorded by the only camera in town. The 1978 World Cup match between Brazil and Sweden, when Clive Thomas blew for full time as Zico's header was on its way into the Swedish goal. And that's Leicester's Gary Parker being sent off against Atletico Madrid recently for taking a free kick too quickly. So, which 2 games were bent as a 9-bob note and which 2 were as straight as a Labour Party spin doctor? Gary's team?
Can we see that Leicester clip again? Because they've got walkers on the shirts.
Yeah, they have. And they lost.
The Tbilisi referee in the I think I read something, he got paid 14 million Georgian rubles to throw that game. And he blew it all buying a fresh orange.
But hasn't it come out recently that Forest Anderlecht, didn't that come out? Is that a legal thing recently that it has been taken to court?
Maybe
that it definitely...
That was
because they interviewed Brian Clough...
That's right, after the game.
After the game.
In the car.
They said, Brian, what do you think? And he went, you're my best mate. Your family.
I mean, the Leicester one was dodgy, wasn't it? Crap.
I saw you tell a joke on Grandstand the other week. No, he did. He told a joke because they interviewed this bloke, and while he's been interviewed, there was a little fly, and he went like that out of the way. And when they cut back to him in the studio, he went, so-and-so, no flies on him.
What's the answer, Gary?
Come on, Gary.
I think, well, it was the Anderlecht Forest. Tbilisi Linfield.
Yeah, I'll give you 3 points for that. Yeah. Anderlecht finally admitted earlier this year that they'd paid the ref in their tie £15,000 to help him with his business. Unfortunately for Anderlecht, 2 men found out about the bribe and started to blackmail the club. 13 years and £750,000 later, cash-strapped Anderlecht finally shot themselves to the police. 750 grand. They could have bought Bruce Grobbelaar for that. They're playing goal, obviously. David, Lee and Tony. This time we're looking for 2 goalkeepers who are on the take. First up is Bruce Grobbelaar himself, flapping convincingly against QPR. This is Argentina in the 1978 World Cup, putting one of the 6 goals they needed to get into the final past Peru's Argentine-born goalkeeper. Here's Colombia's Renny Higuita showing all the poison ball control of Dame Iris Murdoch as he allows Roger Miller to nick the ball off him and score for Cameroon in the 1990 World Cup. And here is Sean Bean scoring a penalty in the FA Cup semi-final against Manchester United on his debut at home, seconds after coming on as a sub in the film When Saturday Comes. So, which 2 of these noble custodians has been nobbled and which 2 were just rubbish, do we think, David's team?
Just thinking that Higuita one, I mean, it must be embarrassing to make such a big gaffe in public. You just can't think really of anyone who might do such a thing.
One time?
I don't want this to sound wrong, Tony, but are they just not allowed to sack you?
That was before this show. I mean, who knows what might happen afterwards,
Exactly.
you know?
Fingers crossed, eh?
Yeah.
Can I just say, you're having a little dig here. He's actually my MP.
MP for West Ham, and he supports Chelsea.
I don't care about that. I'm here to discuss my windows.
It's a bit like being a
How long have you been an MP?
14 years.
So when did you stop doing the clothes show, then?
When they gave me, and this was my last outfit.
Oh, 1982.
Fantastic.
So, Peru v Argentina.
Well, I worked out that last one was actually a film, wasn't it? With Sean Bean.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, how did he manage to score that goal? Because it started off, you saw the goalkeeper, and it was shot on like that. Now, he'd have had to bend that round the cameraman, wouldn't he?
That's true, actually, yeah.
So I think, obviously, that's obviously dodgy.
Come on, one more, then.
Well, it couldn't be the Bruce Grobbelaar one.
No, he's clean. He's clean.
Bruce Grobbelaar has been proved to have never thrown a game in his life.
Never.
The British justice system
So
shows
therefore, it
that.
couldn't be Bruce Grobbelaar.
It would never, ever be Bruce Grobbelaar.
I mean, Sheffield Wednesday let in 6 goals against Manchester United the other Saturday, and he was on the bench.
Yeah.
Well, that shows you the influence of the man. Apparently, after they said, you know, not guilty in that, he went to hug his solicitor, missed. You know.
It's got to be the bloke. It's got to be the bloke who was born in Argentina who was playing for Peru, isn't it?
Is correct for 3 points. Yep. The truth is that the second and fourth goalkeepers had been paid. The Peru team had agreed to let in 6 goals in return for arms, 35,000 tonnes of grain, and a $50 million interest-free loan from the Argentinian Central Bank. What an after-match party that must have been. Bruce Grobbelaar currently plays for Sheffield Wednesday, where he's in training for their next game, the 2-0 home defeat by Arsenal. It's just a prediction, all right? And at the end of the first round, David's team have 3 points and Gary's team have 3 points. Our next round is called Sporting Bluff. Each team comes up with 3 related statements, but only one of them is true. The others are whoppers. Our first subject is Middlesex and England spinner Phil Tufnell.
Ball out. Now out. Beautifully bowled.
Phil Tufnell failed to turn up for a drugs test because he was stung by a wasp.
No wasps on him, then.
Phil Tufnell failed to turn up for a drugs test because he was bitten by a fly. A dog.
Phil Tufnell failed to turn up for a drugs test because he was out of his mind on drugs.
So, David's team, Phil Tufnell missed his drugs test because of a wasp sting, a dog bite, or did it slip his mind because he was actually stoned?
This dog that bit him, was that a police drug sniffer dog?
Must be a great job, though, isn't it? Sort of like, you know, like sniffing out drugs if you're a dog.
It's got to be better than sniffing out explosives, hasn't it?
It's got to be, really. Imagine giving out the jobs, innit? OK, lads, everybody, they're all there, all their tails are wagging like that. You know, cannabis? Oh, cheers, man. Angelic night.
What is Labour's policy on cannabis, by the way?
We're not going to legalise cannabis.
So you don't want this back, then? You gave me before.
So where did this wasp sting him?
I think it was Edgbaston.
Well, if you're giving a urine sample, it's quite obvious where it's...
It was the wasp, but it's, I mean, he actually did try, he claims, to give a sample at tea time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely, that is, isn't it? You're all sitting there, try and have a tea and a bun.
Yeah.
Here comes Phil.
Phil comes in. Everybody finish with this teapot.
I certainly wouldn't fancy sucking the sting out there.
So that's taking drugs and sucking off Phil Tufnell. So far. Let's see if you're right. Who said the wasp one? Was it you, John? Absolutely correct for 3 points, yeah. Phil Tufnell missed giving a drugs test because he was stung on the eyelid by a wasp and then accidentally got wasp ointment in his eye. So, no whiff of suspicion there. On last winter's tour of New Zealand, Phil Tufnell was accused of smoking dope in the disabled lavatory of a Christchurch restaurant. It was such good stuff, he probably needed all those handrails to get it to the door. David, Lee and Tony's facts concern Olympic gold medal winning cyclist Chris Boardman.
And Chris Boardman is going to take the gold medal to become the 4,000-metre Olympic champion, and he does just that.
Chris Boardman is allergic to lycra.
Right.
Aren't we all, dear?
On long cycle races, Chris Boardman suffers from numb penis syndrome, which is probably why he ends up with an odd-shaped helmet.
I get a lot of that numb penis syndrome as well, and I find it affects my wrist at the same time.
That certainly wouldn't affect any else's, would it?
Sorry, John.
You're so bitter since I dumped you, John.
So, Chris Boardman. Lee.
Chris Boardman's bike.
OK. Yeah, that's what you said last time.
Chris Boardman's bike incorporates a part taken from a washing machine.
Right, so does Chris Boardman suffer from a lycra allergy, from desensitised knob, or is his bike nothing more than a mobile washing machine? Gary's team.
I'm allergic to lycra. I can't eat it anymore. But numb...
Must be the only thing, Rory.
You can't wear it, though, can you? Not that you're allergic to it, it just doesn't stretch that far.
You do your flies gag again, Gary. It's horrible when you get pins and needles in your willy, though, isn't it? It was the last time I used that acupuncturist, I tell you.
It must have been years since you saw your numb penis.
Gary Lineker said penis.
I think we should plump for the...
Don't say it.
You have to work on it a bit.
The middle one, as it were.
Which was David Gower.
Numb penis, I think.
All right, well, let's see if you're right. Yes, indeed you were. 3 points. Yes, the answer is that Chris Boardman suffers from numb penis syndrome on long races. In fact, it's common in anyone who spends hours a day in the saddle. Other famous sportsmen to have suffered from numb penis syndrome include Barry Sheene, Eddie Merckx, and, of course, Martina Navratilova. Incredibly, there is another British cyclist called Graham Obery whose bike does contain that part of a washing machine which drives the fast spin cycle. In fact, he was 10 minutes from winning the Tour de France last year when his bike suddenly switched to non-fast colours. And so, at the end of the second round, David's team have 6 and Gary's team have 6. In this next round, we show an unusual piece of sporting footage to each team and ask them the time-honoured question, what's going on? David's team, have a look at this.
It's the biggest fix I've ever seen in my life.
Well, there's a man who should get out more. OK, so what was all that about?
Yeah, well, it's gurneying. That's what it's called, gurneying. Gurning. You're sticking it up something and you pull a funny face. Well, it's about the only sport you'll be able to see that isn't on Sky soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're the sports minister. When are you going to sort it out?
I bet you've got Sky, haven't you?
What?
I bet you've got Sky, haven't you? I bet you've got Sky. I bet you've got Sky, haven't you?
Answer the question.
Yes, I have, yes! All right, time, crack!
When are my windows getting sorted out?
We used to have our bins done Wednesday, and now it's Thursday. Now, we always have a takeaway Wednesday
All right,
night.
I'll tell you what. I'll send Peter Mandelston round to empty them for you.
Tony Banks, without doubt, one of the nicest former sports ministers we've had on the show.
Remember parliamentary privilege and what I can say about you lot.
I bet you're going to have a go at my windows, aren't you?
Listen, mate, I'm going to brick your bleeding windows before you
We've got gurning.
Got gurning.
You spotted gurning, but there's a specific incident there that...
Well, it was fixed, wasn't it?
Yeah, Peter Mandelson won. It looked like him, didn't it?
The guy at the end clearly didn't pull an ugly face.
I bet he was like
I mean, he
outside.
came in like that, didn't he? I
He
mean,
weren't local, he weren't related, you could tell.
Yeah. Well, actually, both of those things are true. In fact, so I shall give you the 3 points. This year's contest made the front pages of the papers when the judges accidentally gave the award to the wrong person, as organiser Alan Clements explains.
A misunderstanding, if you like. The Peters have got mixed up. It should have been the number 21 Peter that won instead of the number 20 Peter that won. But the result still stands because the judge's decision is final.
So they're the World Gurney Organisation, and if two people have the same first name, it just throws the whole competition. This isn't the only time there's been controversy. One year, Ian Dowie turned up and won the contest by smiling at a barmaid. The man who should have won, former world champion Peter Jackman, actually works at nearby Sellafield, where he's considered something of a pin-up. Gary's team, your clip features West Ham playing Manchester United off the park in the final match of last season. So, what was going on there?
So West Ham kick off, kick the ball into touch, and Manchester United get a penalty.
I don't know what was going on there, but Alan Hansen talked for about an hour and a half on it after. I'm actually there.
He does a very good Alan Hansen. He does. Go on, do it, Gary.
Do Jimmy Hill. Go on, do Jimmy Hill.
Someone ought to.
Say...
He's very good.
This is the thing that provoked the investigation into gambling and the possibility that footballers may possibly gamble on spread betting on perhaps the time and the team that takes the first throw-in, possibly allegedly.
Yeah, I'll give you 3 points. That incident when Paul Kitson hoofed the ball out of touch straight from the kick-off after 2 seconds is, as Gary said, the reason that the FA have now made all spread betting on the time of the first throw-in illegal. Although we'd like to stress, obviously, that Paul Kitson himself was not guilty in any way whatsoever of deliberately kicking the ball out of play to cheat the bookies. The correct reason he did it, and the reason that we were looking for, is that Paul Kitson is crap. And at the end of that round, David's team have 9 points and Gary's team have 9 points. Our next round sees the return of the photo fit. We've taken 3 well-known sports personalities and cunningly stitched them together to make one monstrosity. David's team, you're first. Here's yours.
Is this Rory's passport photograph?
Like Rory's got a passport.
Lennox Lewis's hair.
Carry on.
I've seen that mouth, and I'm sure I've seen that mouth in a Chelsea shirt. That's David Mellor.
David Mellor?
That's right. Is David Mellor the only Englishman you've ever seen in a Chelsea shirt, then?
Yeah. He's certainly the only one I've seen who scored 5 times in one.
You've got one with David Mellor. Any ideas over here?
Right. Is it Emerson?
It is indeed Emerson, yeah. And... No?
No, don't
OK, let's split up the picture and see who the third one was. It is, in fact, Jamie Balch. So, that was Emerson, Balch and Mellor. I used to have some of their albums. OK, let's have a look at the next one for Gary's team.
That must be... that's Deirdre Barlow after a night with Linford Christie.
Who could possibly do that with their mouth? I mean...
Oh, fantastic.
That's it. Do you know what, Gary, you must be a pimp's dream. I'll tell you.
Well, Gary, I don't like to nudge you, but you've given yourself a clue there. Yes, it is indeed Gary Lineker, yeah.
Arsene Wenger.
Arsene Wenger, yeah. The only manager in football whose name virtually parallels the name of his club, apart from Brian Shite of Doncaster.
Not the hair.
It's the hair we can't get.
Cornicova.
Very good. 3 out of 3, yes. Split it up and see. There we are. So that's Anna Kournikova's hair, the specs of Arsene Wenger and Gary Lineker's mouth. Arsene Wenger, of course, managed Grampus 8 just after Gary left. He was greeted at the airport with cries of Yapa Uchu Jim Kata Yokata, which he thought meant hello, but in fact meant, thank God the big ears has gone. Is that a good pronunciation?
No, it didn't mean that, actually. That's wrong.
It does mean it.
No, it doesn't.
Yapa Uchu Jim Kata Yokata.
How would you pronounce it, Gary?
Yokata is good. Was good.
That's what they told you. So, at the end of that round, David's team have 10 points, but Gary's team have 13. In this next round, we ask our regulars to use everything but their eyes to identify sporting figures. David and Lee, you're up first, if you'd like to take your positions, please. Cool. You have 90 seconds in which to tell us who your mystery guest is.
Oh, dear. Here, look at this. This is like me trying to watch England play on terrestrial television.
And can we have our first mystery guest, please? And your 90 seconds start now.
It's that bloke out Friday the 13th.
Just give me a clue.
It's the world's softest bloke.
Thank you. Lee,
What?
Lee, we've got a hockey stick here.
Hockey stick?
Could be a girls' school team.
Yeah, keep going on that line.
Tell you what?
You only go to girls' public schools?
Well, the only one I've been in, I was just in the changing rooms.
Oh, God, just tell us, talk
For
us
about
through
30
it.
seconds,
Not
that
Rodine,
was
then,
it.
Bennington?
What, we've got skates here, Dave. Ice hockey, I'm guessing.
Well, OK,
Yeah. Which team?
Well,
Which team? Oh, yeah, let me just think.
what colour shirt?
I'll give you a clue, they're a national team, all right.
Wales.
Britain, Great Britain.
Yes, that'll do, the Great
British-
Britain ice hockey team. Well done. I've always thought the Channel Tigers sound like an ice hockey team. Thanks, gents. It's Gary and Rory's turn now. Now, if you saw last week's show and you're wondering how Gary and Rory managed to identify the Harlequins team so fast, it's because that the BBC very cleverly put them in an adjacent dressing room. So, Gary, you're cheating again. OK, blindfolds on. OK, and can we have our second mystery guest, please? Your 90 seconds start now.
What's that?
Someone wearing...
Life-saving, life-saving.
Shergar.
Yeah, It's somebody wearing a toilet seat.
Hang on a sec.
Is that horse collar? Is it horse collar? Is it Princess Anne? Gary, is that you? Oh,
It's a gurney.
it's a gurney. It's
Gurney.
that guy. What's
Gurney.
the
What's his
name
name?
of the
What's his
guy?
name?
What do you think of the new Minister
Sorry,
of Sport?
sorry.
He's a what?
Jackman.
Yes. First name?
Peter.
Yes, Peter Jackman, well done. Peter, don't go away, because I'm happy to announce that justice will now be done, because the World Gurning Association have announced that the world title will be restored to you, to Peter Jackman, and here to present the trophy to him is the Secretary of the WGA, Alan Clements. Tell you what, that Alan Clements was worse, wasn't it? Sorry, Alan.
Stop going.
At the end of that round, David's team have 13 and Gary's team have 16. We finish with the face-pulling, bribe-taking name game. The team in front goes first, which is Gary's team at the moment. Rory's going to be doing the clues. Can you pass that along to Rory, please, John? Or Gary? Sorry. OK, as many names as you can in the next 90 seconds, starting now.
Manchester United forward, used to miss goals, doesn't anymore.
Andy Cole.
Correct. A very attractive woman, looked good in lycra, actually. Give me numb-penis syndrome any day. What's on this show? Good-looking girl. You've probably...
Sharon Davis.
Yes, thank you. Dutch winger, plays for Arsenal, always injured.
Overmars, Mark Overmars.
This is a hammer thrower. His first name... He has the same first name as Ian Rush. Oop. It's
Get rid of it, you'll lose it anyway.
Surname...
Get rid of it.
Potato, you make it into a chip.
Crisp.
Chip. Yeah, chip.
Chip
This
and
one,
crisp.
what you do after women? When Michelle's not here, obviously.
Lust.
Yeah, chip lust, that'll do. This guy has the first name as Steve Davis. Oh, shit. And his second name sounds like a sort of aristocratic sexual activity. Name of a dog that hunts, that you run after.
Beagle.
And a part of his body that he shares with a polo min.
Hole.
Beaglehole.
Oh, Beaglehole, yeah. This West Indies cricketer named after the Roman god of wine.
Bacchus, that is.
Yeah, Christian name?
Bacchus.
Yeah, the god of wine didn't have a Christian name.
Fouled, isn't it?
Good man.
Foud. This is surname Japanese for Willie.
Wirry.
Wirry! Right, I'd like to take 2 points away from Rory and Gary there for the repeated use of same first name as Ian Rush, same first name as Steve Davis trick. OK, so you're back down to 20 points.
Didn't get that one past you, did I,
You
Nick?
need 8 to win. OK, Lee? And your 90 seconds start now.
British javelin for our huge bloke we had him on the show.
Backley, Steve Backley.
Correct. Cricketer.
Phil Evans.
Tough Allegedly.
It's Nick Hancock if he was working somewhere else on another sports programme, but he'd be a woman.
Steve Barker.
Correct.
It's very clever. That's very good for you.
That was very good for me, wasn't it?
Less discussing it, go on.
No, keep discussing.
Manchester United goes out with the Spice Girls.
Beckham.
Yeah, oh, sorry, I meant a bloke, not just all of them, you know. Big bloke, wears a lot of gold, and he's a football manager, and...
Ron Atkinson.
Correct, yes.
Come on, you can do this.
I can, can't I? If I sort of hurry up. And, and if you didn't interrupt like that, I was doing quite well there, you know.
Sorry about interrupting.
This bloke, if he was, like, attached to a railway car, you would thing him to it.
Couple. Fred Couples.
I can't believe you got that. This one's an athlete, right? His first name, it would be like Num Penis, but it's like Richard.
Dick.
Correct. And his second name is the sound a duck would make.
Whack.
Get that, dude. Come on. The next one, January, February, March.
April.
And it's not the sun, it's the...
Moon.
Correct. This is, oh, God, Sylvia Crystal. She was in it.
So the final score is Gary's team with 20, but David's team are the winners with 21. So our thanks go to Gary, Rory and John, Tony, David and Lee. And we're all off to see if Tony Banks has still got a job. My name's Nick Hancock. I think it's all over. It is now.
Coming next on BBC One, Ben Elton and Neil Hamilton give As Good As They Get from Clive Anderson.